Welcome to Star-Powered Astrology for Changemakers. I'm Leslie Tagorda, your guide, a Hawaii-born Filipino-Jewish astrologer who loves navigating visionaries like you through the spiritual journey of your work so that you can be inspired to lead by your chart and become the luminary leader you were born to be. Hello, luminaries. It is Leslie Tagorda back with another episode as we approach the beautiful Libra Equinox. And I welcome back a wonderful friend of mine to join me in this conversation about this upcoming equinox. You know her, you might know her, Asha Frost, Indigenous Medicine Woman, a friend, an author, a best-selling author of books and decks. Hi, Asha.
Hi, Leslie. Thank you for having me back. It's my favorite place to be.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love our conversations here. And thank you for joining me. So, today we're here to talk about this beautiful Libra equinox and like this balance of light and balance of dark, the balance. I love the light at the time at this time when the sunlight at dusk and dawn is just like so beautiful. How do you feel during this season of equinox?
I feel the exact same. I was walking this week, especially. I feel like that freshness in the air, the way the sun is hanging in the sky. There is something it feels like it's calling out the light in some way. And I know this is a time of balance. I saw a post today about how we've kind of put that love and light to the side, and how this person was re-embracing love, sort of love and light from a place of that equilibrium or that balance, and how we've really romanticized the shadow. So I've been thinking about that all day, about how do we balance the energies of light and dark, and really walk in a way of in the middle somehow. So that's it's been feeling like that this week for me, for sure.
Yeah, I love that idea of thinking about same here, like in San Francisco. Asha, you're up in the Canadian Toronto area, and I'm in Pacific Coast in San Francisco. And just like as we look out into the evening sky, as like the sun starts to set earlier for us in the northern hemisphere, and that golden glow and thinking about the light and the shadow as our days and nights get to become more equilibrium just in our lives, the shadow and the light, we can't understand light, we can't understand joy and happiness without understanding sadness and challenge.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think I've really tried to expand my capacity for ease and joy and some of those light moments, because I can go into those shadowy parts, and I'm comfortable going there. Maybe it's not that I stay there, but I am comfortable going there and looking at those parts. And I know sometimes it can be hard for so many people. And so yeah, walking with both, I think, and holding both, and knowing that when we're experiencing those times, because I think during the fall in the Northern Hemisphere, we are examining on the medicine wheel what needs to be released. Are there any emotions that have been suppressed over these past cycles that need to rise, that need to be acknowledged and validated and tended to, so that we can sort of let them rise up and flow into the earth, just like those leaves release off the trees? How can we let go? And how can we make more room? So if we can't look at those sort of shadowy pieces, then they're not going to go anywhere, and we won't be able to wrestle them up. So I've been feeling the wrestling. I don't know if anybody else has, but that's what I've been feeling this week.
I've been definitely feeling the wrestling. It's just, I think, like hearing from my clients, hearing my own experience, especially over this summer, over this Virgo season that we're leaving now, I've seen a lot of people, myself included, like struggling with grief, struggling with like mental wellness, not necessarily mental health, but like mental wellness, feeling overwhelmed by all of the things. And we've spent a lot of time being in the shadow, looking at the shadow, looking at this idea of grief. But I think when you talk about holding it both and like thinking about the light as well as the dark, grief shows us, right, everything that we love. and
Mm.
everything that we need to like let go of in order to get to that love. So as we move from like this place of wellness and wholeness and coherence, I like to think of now Virgo as coherence. How do you suppose that we move and celebrate this equinox so that we can move from this coherence into that reciprocity, that reciprocal regulation of that equanimity that will come through so we can let go in equinox? Maybe those are just a lot of big words in there, but I think you hopefully you can understand where the flow that I'm kind of evolving into.
Yeah, the first phrase that comes to me is to be with the shakeup, to be with the rustling. Like, what does it mean actually to be with that for a day, a few days, a week? Because I think there's a tendency as human beings to want to leap out of that, to want things to get more peaceful, more balanced. And of course, this is a portal and opening an invitation for us to do that. But how can we? Are we allowing ourselves to be in that and not making it wrong and not shaming ourselves and not saying, I need to get out of this as quick as possible? If we're in a rustly time, a disoriented time, a time where things don't feel quite clear, can we use that as medicine and think, this is where the wisdom is coming from? I don't quite know what that wisdom is, but I do believe after this equinox shift, there's going to be some clarity. There's going to be some depth of that wisdom in our bodies that we can then move out into the world. So, can you be with the rustling? Can you sit with it? Can you be with it?
Ooh, like as you're talking about the rustling, like I could hear the dry leaves on the sidewalk or in the grass. I could like imagine like the leaves don't fall here in San Francisco, but I've been in places where the leaves indeed do fall, and like how sometimes it's like so much fun to play in those leaves. And so not only like how can we be in the rustle, but how can we actually enjoy the rustle?
Yes, that's such a beautiful image. And my children love to pile the leaves up and play and release and dance and joy in those rustling. So, yeah, how can we play in the rustle? How can we receive joy in that time? How can we laugh at ourselves and not take it so seriously? I'm the first person to say I take life seriously at many times, and I
Yeah.
love joy and dancing and playing and singing. So, how can we bring those things to this time is a beautiful question.
Yes, I think, let's brainstorm on some ways that we can just like enjoy the rustle, like figuratively and symbolically, like, imagining having that childlike abandon, like playing in the piled up leaves, enjoying the beautiful scents and the colors of the foliage as they change. Or, for me in San Francisco, maybe this is like a little bit of witchiness for me, but I love sweeping.
Mm.
And I live on
Oh,
a very urban kind of street, a lot of walking paths. And I love just like sweeping up the dust and sweeping up whatever like leaves fall through. How else could we enjoy this wrestling time?
well, the light is getting shorter, the days are getting shorter. So I'm thinking about that feeling of coziness and that feeling of our bodies really allowing our bodies to rest into the natural state and the cyclical state. It's getting darker. So I'm noticing, oh, my bed feels so comfortable. And just noticing pleasure in sleep and rest at this time where the world's not hustling and bustling as as deeply as it was in the summer where everybody was
Yeah.
awake till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Things are closing down and shutting down. And how can we allow ourselves to deepen into that coziness? That feels joyful to me, to really feel the joy of my bed and the joy of my sheets and the joy of
Yes.
my pillow. Those things feel really good at this time of year. So, and even if sometimes, we say sleep makes everything better. I do think sometimes when we're struggling with that feeling of the wrestling rising, oh, sleep is medicine. That's how I'm going to restore my nervous system. That's where I'm going to heal. I keep telling my children, sleep is when you heal. So how can we call that in at a time where the earth is starting to go to sleep too?
Regulate ourselves to be able to rest and like get to that place of peaceful sleep, peaceful restorative sleep.
Mhm.
Thinking like astrologically as well as astronomically, about just the equinox, right? We get a Libra equinox. We get also that Aries equinox, where the sun moves into the cardinal signs, Libra and Aries, spring and fall, regardless of where, depending on where on this beautiful earth you live. But it's really marking the natural cycles of the solar time that dance between the earth and the sun. And thinking just like astronomically, just like where how the earth is tilted and how the sun looks to be rising exactly in the middle of the eastern horizon, no matter where you live on this planet earth, on the morning of that equinox. Is there medicine in your tradition that people mark this special solar event?
Well, I mean, this event really is calling us into that harvest time, right? So we talk about harvesting the wisdom and harvesting and having feast. Like we do lots of feasting during these moments of shifts in the seasons. So I love to think about feasting our ancestors, blessing all of the beautiful things that have come to fruition, blessing all of the things in that way. And I do think the sun is that being that says, celebrate how far you've come. Look at the light blessings in your life. How can we shine some light over those things instead of just going, okay, I'm going to leap on to the next thing, which
Yeah.
we're just notorious for, right? What's next? What's next? How can we take that time, take a breath, do an offering, do a feasting, have that sun shine down on all of the things that we have grown and birthed and created in the world and in our lives. Take a moment, take a day and honor that. So to me, that is harvesting the blessings that we have been a part of, a sacred part of in all of creation, and honoring ourselves, I think, is so important. I know I can get caught up in I have to go next to the next big thing or whatever that is.
You and I have that drive. Just like going and going. And so what a beautiful reminder to celebrate and appreciate this bountiful harvest, like symbolically, in terms of appreciating everything we have come through, all the growth we've had, everything that we've accomplished, and really offering some of that abundance, as I heard you say, like to your altar, to your ancestors, to thank them as well. Like that sounds so beautiful.
Yeah, it is a time of gratitude, I think, during this time. In the West, in our tradition, that's where that buffalo medicine sits, which is that like lean in, be taken care of, release what you no longer need. So then I always think whatever is coming in from the great mystery is whatever's meant to touch us. And that always feels like abundance to me because it feels like it's in alignment. And as I go through that wrestling and that challenge and that disorientation, and I do that release, then the great mystery has all this space to touch me. That feels magical to me.
Mm, that's so beautiful. When I look at the chart of this beautiful equinox, the Libra equinox, so fall for us in the northern hemisphere, spring for those of us in the southern hemisphere, there's a couple of things that are going on in the sky. And I wonder if how you are intuitively feeling this, because to me, this beautiful equinox is so present specifically for you, my friend. Asha has a Gemini sun and a Capricorn moon and a Libra rising. And this equinox has so many of those signatures as in your chart. So with your Libra rising, the sun is moving into Libra, like an emergence for you. And then we also have the Capricorn moon. So right before the equinox, we have our first quarter moon that is initiated, a time of taking action, a time where experiences come forth to us for us to respond to. Do you get a sense of that in just the way you're feeling about this particular equinox?
Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. Thank you for mentioning that. Um, the sense that I get right now is really a call to alignment. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And that might be just a personal thing of what's happening for me, but I really feel this calling to alignment and a calling to the vision, like the great vision and how I can take those steps forward after this Virgo time and sort of
Oh,
cleaning
yeah.
up that commitment and really asking myself, well, where do I have the capacity? What can I invest in? Where can I go with this? it almost feels like this is a little bit of delight. Like I hear the word delight and sprinkling of, okay, like you've done all that cleanup work. Now, how is this vision going to be birthed? How can it be delightful? How can you sprinkle it with more of your medicine magic? This is a season for me in particular where things are opening up for a lot more speaking, which I've dreamed about a year ago. And I planted the seed and said, I really want to be a speaker. That is where I love my medicine to shine through. And all these opportunities are coming my way. It's not exactly what I dreamed that might happen because it's taken a bit of a different direction than what I thought maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's way more in alignment with my soul's path. So I'm feeling that based on what you were sharing with the chart.
Ooh, so and more things light up with when you're talking about that realignment to the great mystery, to your soul path. When I think about this ideas of like the great mystery, like the kind of unity, like the spiritual energy that is like all encompassing, the interconnectedness that our soul paths are all part of this like great mystery.
Mm,
And there is also an aspect between the sun and Neptune.
mm,
And Neptune indeed is like that interconnected great mystery, that kind of the archetype of that. And so having the sun across that, I love that reminder also to realign, especially, thinking back astrologically, we just finished our Mercury retrograde, we finished our Venus retrograde, and then all of the other planets, except for Mars, are still in retrograde. And so thinking about those RXs as that planetary medicine, like plant medicine, planetary medicine that has been allowing us to reshift into now we get to integrate that alignment.
that's so brilliant. And I want to be the first to say it's not always comfortable
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
I can be the first to say that I hold on, like I have a vision, I have a dream, I work really hard. That's my Capricorn moon. I work really
Yeah.
hard, put my action steps in. And then when it doesn't turn out the way that I'd hoped or the way that my dream was, say 2 years ago, I can feel really disappointed. And I do spend a little bit of time in that grief phase or the tears come and a little bit of that tantrum to the universe. Like, why is this happening?
Why is it
But
so
then
hard?
I know, and then I see this beautiful path opening up that is opening up. And the reminder, well, you can't do it all. You can't do it all. So why don't we do it in the way that's aligned the best for your soul purpose and the best that's aligned for your medicine to shine the brightest in the world? That's what I feel the call is calling me to do, at least. And I hope for others too, is what pathway is calling you, what is most in alignment with that soul purpose or that creator's vision of you or that pathway that just came down from the stars at your birth. How are you realigning to that?
Yes, because things have shifted. And I feel like people are really noticing the things that have shifted, the priorities that have shifted, the boundaries that need to be reestablished, and hearing that call instead of resisting it and fighting it and say, okay, I'm going to realign little by little, shift, 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 degree by degree to get into that beautiful place of then that coherence that I was kind of talking about. Um, so tomorrow, I hear on Thursday evening, you are hosting an equinox celebration. Is this true?
This is true. So tomorrow evening on the Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am holding, facilitating a fall equinox ceremony from the Anishinaabe or Ojibwe tradition. And the ceremony is going to be filled with the medicine that we're speaking about, that west direction in the medicine wheel, the buffalo medicine. How can we practice some practices or rituals or ceremonies where we are listening to the rustling, shifting all that up. We're going to do a big cleanse and purification for that. And then sweep that away. You said the sweeping. So I love that motion
Sweeping.
of sweeping it away so that we can make room for what is aligned. And as we speak about this, I can feel that dropping in. It's always a remembering and calling us back to, yes, life might have been hard. There might be some disarray, there might be some disorientation, there might be some confusion, and now we're being called into this new medicine energy. So that's what it's going to be. And I love gathering in these ceremonies. We spoke before we got on this call about having global communities. And yes, we can meet in person now, and that's a beautiful thing. And this is a way that we can meet from all different avenues of the world and bring in your own ancestral medicine, your own ceremony, your own medicine into the circle. And I think that's really powerful.
Ooh, I can't wait to be in your purification and cleansing ceremony tomorrow, and just how you facilitate and bring people together in these beautiful gatherings. It is truly magical medicine, Asha. So can you let us, so this equinox ceremony that you're hosting is actually an opening, a bonus gift of your upcoming offering that you have. I'm so excited. Would you share this beautiful offering that you have with us?
Yeah, so this is a bonus if you sign up before tomorrow night, then you receive this as a bonus ceremony. And my offering is called Ceremony, and it's based around my book, You Are the Medicine, that incorporates the 12 moons of creation and the 12 moons from an Ojibwe teaching perspective based on the lands that my ancestors are upon, but it's applicable to everyone because I've had many people across the world read this and it has spoken to their soul in some way and their path in some way. So we're moving through those moon cycles together. And every month we're gathering to again assess how far we've come and what we've moved through to celebrate and purify out what doesn't serve us and come into alignment every month and dreaming those beautiful things into being. I love gathering in this community. I really love dreaming these things together because I think it's so potent when we come together in these big gatherings. We're all holding this intention for my dreams to come true, your dreams to come true. And in these circles and ceremonies, the moon, grandmother moon, is guiding us. So I would love to have anybody who's interested in moon ceremonies, who wants to gather in community, and anybody who wants to learn how to engage in these ceremonies in a respectful way, because we speak a lot about how to appreciate Indigenous teachings and not appropriate them. So by studying with me and gathering with me, then you have that line and that connection to those teachings.
Oh my goodness, I've learned so much from you, Asha, through our years of friendship. And I'm really looking forward to being part of this year journey with ceremony to gather with you and people from all across the world each month to celebrate each of the full moons. The ceremony is an extension of this beautiful book, Asha's bestseller, You Are the Medicine, where she teaches ancestral connection and animal spirit guidance for each of the full moons throughout the year. And so a week after the equinox, we have our Aries full moon. In the Ojibwe tradition, what is the Aries full moon?
Right. So this is called Benakwe Gizis, which is falling leaves moon. And at that time here, that is what's happening, not in San Francisco, but they're changing colors. But it really is connected actually to that still that fall energy and that equinox time of things falling to the ground and falling to the earth and being transmuted and transformed by Mother Earth. So it's a really powerful time. This season, even though I struggle sometimes with the letting go and surrendering, I know this is for me one of the most magical times because I
Oh.
just have to keep saying, I'm letting go, I'm letting go, I'm allowing the great mystery to flow through me. I'm allowing creator's vision for me to move through me. So it really calls to my spirit in a great way. And yes, that moon is going to be an extension of sort of that fall energy and moving into that for the rest of the year.
I am so ready to let go and regenerate all the things that I no longer need and put that back into this compost, into the soil so that it can compost and nourish my dreams that will come when the light begins to grow again. That's so beautiful, Asha. So if you want to join ceremony and join me, I'll be there. Join Asha, of course, who will be facilitating and guiding us through all of these 12, 13 moons for the next year. Head on over to ashafrost.com/ceremony and sign up and join this beautiful global community so that we can all gather together and have fun in the wrestling.
Yes, have fun in the wrestling. My ceremonies do have fun. I have to say, like I do try to infuse some joy into that seriousness, and hope that you leave with more capacity for joy.
Yes. So as we look to the sky, equinox, when the sun moves into Libra, sparking Libra season in the sky, this is going to happen for us on Friday. September 22nd at 11:50 p.m. Pacific, and Saturday morning on the 23rd at 2:50 a.m. So the equinox is a little bit late this year, like a day instead of like the 21st, 22nd. It's on the 22nd, 23rd this year, which is fine. And I wonder, Asha, is there something that we, without giving away our entire ceremony that we'll be doing together, I wonder if there's something that we can plant in our heart so that we can celebrate the sun and purify ourselves as we approach equinox.
Oh, I love that question. The image I saw, because it's going to be happening around, during that nighttime. And I talked a little bit about rest building capacity. And I believe so much can happen in our nighttime. We spend so much time sleeping and dreaming, and we've been colonized away from that. That is really powerful medicine. Our dreams are such powerful medicine. So I would love your dream time to nourish you. Even though it's not happening under that sunlight, you can ask grandfather sun as they go down, maybe that day, to nourish your dream time, to have your ancestors speak to you during that night, to have the wisdom come forward that's inherently in your bones and blood. That happens. That's happened to me over my lifetime. So I know it happens for you. Maybe put a crystal under your pillow or a rock friend. Maybe put some plant medicine to really honor that as that shift happens, as that equinox shift happens. I think that's a beautiful way that we can re-indigenize our own bodies and our own space.
Oh my goodness, Asha, that is so beautiful. Just thinking of like that to reconnect us through that intentional dream time, to set a prayer, set an intention with grandfather sun, grandmother moon, to connect us back to our roots and our wisdom that we might have been disconnected from through colonization, to celebrate this beautiful equinox, this new season of releasing.
Yeah, I hope that if you're drawn to this or this medicine, you join us. I would love to have you, and you'll be met with a great heart and great love.
Beautiful. Well, everybody, head on over again to ashafrost.com/ceremony. This is going to be one of the most beautiful, nourishing, supportive communities for your soul, for your heart, for your emotions, all of that for love. Thank you, Asha. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave with us before we close up today?
Oh no, just a blessing. I just see a blessing of that buffalo medicine pouring out to each and every one of the beings that are listening to this. May you be blessed with the things that are meant to touch you in this season, and may you have the capacity to truly receive them because you're worthy.
Beautiful. Thank you, Asha, for joining me again. We'll have to make these a regular season, regular sessions.
Yes, it's so lovely to be here as always. Thank you for having me.
All right, bye, luminaries. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As a human design projector, my energy shines more brightly because of people like you who share my work. If you enjoy this podcast and want to help build a movement of innovative astrology and leadership and spark the intuitive revolution, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, or better yet, share this podcast with your change-making besties. We will all shine brighter together as we create the future we want to see.